kind of a stupid gun. Not in real life, it's a fine gun in real life, but it's a stupid gun in the game.
Hey guys, what's up? It is Preach as always. So in today's video, we are going to answer the question, should you buy Modern Warfare 2? And we're going to do that by discussing the pros and cons that I found in the game during the beta. But before we jump into this, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button if you like what you see today. Subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. So let's go ahead and jump into this, and we're going to start with the pros and the things that I liked in the Modern Warfare 2 beta over the last 2 weekends. And the first thing that I want to point out is I like the overall map design. Now, Hotel is not my favorite. I think that's a little bit big for 6v6, and I don't necessarily love the upstairs hallways there. But the aesthetic of the map is really good. I like the color palette, things of that nature, and there's not a whole lot of clutter. You know, there's head glitches and stuff like that, you know, spots that you can use for cover that are obvious, but there's not a ridiculous amount of clutter. And that really applies to every map. The Los Alamos map is my favorite map. That is the Mexican market one. The spawns on it are a little bit wacky, and we'll discuss that later in the cons. But overall, that is my favorite map. The color design of that, the color palette they use is vibrant, it's bright. I really, really, really like that map. Farm 18, while it's more dark and dull, I really like the way that it is laid out. And the gameplay that you're seeing right now is obviously on that map. So it is a map that I feel like if I use an SMG this year, I'm really going to be able to put some gameplays together on this map specifically. So the map design is the #1 thing that I really like in the game. The next thing that I really, really like is the gunplay. I feel like the guns feel really good to use. Pretty much every gun that I picked up and used at some point, whether it's one that I used in a class myself that I made, or whether it is one that I picked up off the ground, or whether it was one of the default classes, pretty much every gun felt good to use. Now, the Lockman, one setup for that feels a little bit overpowered. There's, you know, really the best feeling gun probably in the game that seemed to be the most OP was the AK-74U, and we couldn't even put attachments on that. So overall, you know, there could be some weapon balancing, and that's always going to be the case, so I'm not even worried about that. But its overall gunplay feel felt really, really, really good. Some of the visual recoil stuff and the visuals during gunfights could be worked on. They've already addressed that a little bit, and it could be better. But again, as a whole, gunplay feels really good, and I thought that that was a great implementation for this game. So the visual aesthetics of the game are really good on the maps, on the weapons, on the character models. All of that looks really, really good. And those are the main positives and the big things I want to take away that I really, really like so far about MW2. Using those things and utilizing those things makes the game fun. But there are cons, and this part of this is going to probably take a little bit longer so that I can explain what I'm trying to get across to you guys and not just give you a list of don't like, don't like, don't like. All right, so the first thing I want to start with is they, you know, promised up and down that we're going to be able to have gameplay variety, and they wanted to make the game to where it's fun for rushers and fun for flankers and fun for snipers and fun for campers and fun for everybody. You wanted to make it to where, you know, everyone could have fun no matter how you wanted to play. That's what they said. But I think it is very clear throughout this beta that what they would really like is for us to slow down and play this slow, campy, listening for audio cues, very tactical gameplay. Okay, think about like a Rainbow Six Siege, if you've ever played that. It's just slower, tactical gameplay that is not traditional what Call of Duty is supposed to be. So if people want to play that way and that's their desired way to play, that's fine. They should have the right to do so, but they're almost forcing us that if you want to be truly successful, that's the way you have to play. And I think that that can be proven, and I may even do that this year a few times is show just how easy it is to go in, play that way, and put together these really good rounds and really good kill death ratios. But honestly, for most of us that have been playing Call of Duty for a long time, that's just a really boring way to play. So on that note, what leads to a lot of that is the fact that we still have really loud footstep audio. Even after they softened it a little bit for weekend number 2, the overall footstep audio is still incredibly loud. You can literally hear people from 100 yards away stomping at you, and if you pay close enough attention, crank your headset and really listen to that, everyone that's coming, I mean, you could literally be pre-firing before they come around, even if they're not on your mini-map, because you hear them so clearly and so easily in this game. Along with that, we do not have dead silence as a perk. It is still just a field upgrade. And I believe the true reason for that, no matter what they say, is because that implements better for Warzone, and they're trying so hard to mesh these games together. And I understand the concept of what they want to do there, but really I just don't think it would be that hard for them to code it in as a perk for multiplayer and as a field upgrade for Warzone. I understand Warzone, you don't want super quiet people everywhere. There's too much to pay attention to. So having that footstep audio is a really good cue in Warzone, but we don't want that in multiplayer. So separate those out a little bit would be better if Infinity Ward would do that. So, you know, the footstep sounds and the lack of dead silence are a lot of what leads to this campy gameplay, along with the perk Ghost working even when you're sitting still. So you don't have to be moving for Ghost to work once it becomes effective. And they did speed up in this perk system this time. They basically cut the time in half. So the perk you were earning at 8 minutes, you're now earning at 4, and you can get that even faster through score within the game. So you're earning it faster, but really it's fixing something that wasn't broken, reinventing the wheel. The old perk system where you just got your perks that you chose right off the bat, there's nothing wrong with that. It works better, and it doesn't lead to the weird imbalances that this one potentially leads to. So all of that leads me into another particular case. Because Ghost is working whether you're moving or not, that is keeping you off of the minimap at all times if you have Ghost. And the minimap is really the next big thing that I want to talk about. A traditional minimap, we had it in, Cold War, but we did not have it in Modern Warfare 19. Nobody cares what we had in Vanguard. That game was complete garbage. But a traditional minimap shows red dots when someone is firing their weapon unless they have a silencer or a suppressor. The minimap that we have now does not show people when they are firing their weapon, only with a UAV. And they said that they want to use that to protect people. They don't want you punished for firing your weapon. That's dumb. If weapons are fired on the field of battle, you pretty much know exactly where those are coming from. But whatever, the realism part of this doesn't matter. What matters is how it plays within the game. We've always used the traditional minimap system in that way, and then people had the choice of I can use a suppressor, take up one of my attachment slots for that, and I'm going to lose damage range on my gun, and I'm going to lose that attachment slot, but I'm not going to show up on the minimap when I fire my weapon. So people who were flanking and playing that more stealthy style had that choice to make. They could put on Ghost and they could run with a suppressor, and that was going to allow them to not ever be on the minimap. Now, you're just not on it for free. It's just a gift to you. Here you go. You're not on the minimap. So, it's really kind of pointless. I don't really know why they are doing this with the minimap, but that is something I would really like to see changed for the full build of the game. The other thing, maybe give us a little bit more ability to strafe faster in gunfights instead of having to bunny hop. That's not really overly a big deal to me, but it would allow players, if you're wanting to protect the little bit lower skill players that aren't sweating and trying as hard, if when they were just strafing back and forth, that was a little bit faster, it would be more viable option in a gunfight. against those players that are bunny hopping like crazy, like I'm honestly going to be doing myself when I'm using a regular gun, because that's just the best way to win a gunfight in the game right now. So you may look at working on that meta just a little bit. The other big thing, though, that I would really like to lead into, off of talking about how the map works, how the map is laid out and designed, and how the mini-map is working for us, all of that working together with how the spawn system works in this game is very important. And they have brought back squad spawns like we had in Modern Warfare 19 and even in Vanguard to a degree. Cold War, we had the more traditional spawns. So if you don't know the difference, in more traditional spawns, generally one team is spawning on one side of the map, the other team is spawning on the other side of the map, and if you push too far into the enemy spawn, then it flips. And there's multiple places that you spawn, but generally you know if we're spawning over here, they're spawning over there. It allows for a little bit more spawn safety, honestly, but it also does allow for spawn trapping as well. With squad spawns, a person could just spawn anywhere they have a teammate. So it don't matter where on the map that is. If there's a teammate in that area, it could spawn you there. And I've seen it just spawn you in random places all by yourself. We saw earlier in this gameplay when I had the quad feed with the Hurricane here on the Farm 18 map, right as I turned around, a guy spawned right behind me. But he spawned with 3 of my teammates around him. So he got instantly killed. He had just died, spawned in, got instantly killed. He didn't even have a chance to get his gun out. I don't think any of my teammates even took damage. The guy just got thrown into the middle of 4 enemies and immediately died. And right now I'm going to go ahead and throw a clip into this video of me getting killed, losing a gunfight, and then I'm going to spawn up just like 10 feet away from where I just died and get killed by the same guy because I spawned right in his path again. And then, as soon as I die there, I'm going to spawn back in 3 to 5 feet away from an enemy. And then I'm going to get lucky and get that kill by meleeing him, because it probably surprised him just as much as it did me for me to spawn 5 feet away from where he was running right at. So these are things that really need to be addressed and fixed in this game. The spawn system needs serious work. That is probably one of my biggest cons, along with the footstep audio. But to answer the question, while the cons was the longer part of the list, do I think you should buy Modern Warfare 2? And honestly, the answer to that is a resounding yes. Buy the game, because what are you going to do? You're not going to play Modern Warfare 19. That's going to be a 4-year-old game at this point. You're probably not still going to be playing Cold War, but I wouldn't blame you if you were, because I really enjoyed that game. And ain't nobody going to continue to play Vanguard. That game was garbage. All 3 of the other games, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2019, and Cold War, are way better than Vanguard. So I do think that you should buy this game. If you like Call of Duty and you want to continue to play Call of Duty, buy this game. If you're new to Call of Duty and you're just wondering, should I get this one? The things that I complained about in this video, the negatives, are probably going to have 0 impact and 0 influence on you, because you never experienced Call of Duty without those things. So it's not really going to matter to you. So I still think you should buy the game. So overall, do I think there's a lot of things that need fixed? Yes. But is it an enjoyable game? Yes, it is. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, learned something in it, and decided whether or not you're going to purchase it. If you have enjoyed it, smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Reach out.